Welcome back, everyone. With school starting this week, I feel like now I'm just picking on you. Tomorrow, first day of school for Fargo kids. Some kids already back in class. Our kids not going back. Mine individually, you and Aji's daughter going back Tuesday next week. So, you know, now is the time to get back into a routine.
Isabella, thumbs up or thumbs down on going back to school? She's really thinking. She gave us one of these.
She's not sure yet.
Annie Schlecht, founder of Zen Sleep Consulting, is going to give some tips on how to ease your children back into their school time sleep schedule. What a great topic today. Great to have you with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
And where would you like to start this morning?
You know, it's like you were saying, a lot of parents are out there screaming yay, that they're so excited to get their kids back to school. However, I have a couple parents that are like, oh, how am I going to get them back onto their bedtime routine? So that's always a topic that I'm here to help my families with, and just getting them out of that summertime crazy schedule and getting them more on a consistent routine again. So a lot of tips that I have for my parents, but today I wanted to talk, you know, my number one tip is probably just starting that bedtime routine again, creating it, having the kiddo help you create it, and making sure that it is set up so the bedtime is to the point where they're getting the number of hours of sleep that are recommended for their age. So I have done the math for you guys and created a chart that's, you know, available on my website. So basically this is going to have some tips on if they're, you know, 5 to 6 years old, they need to wake up at 7 a.m. This tells you what time they should be going to bed, you know, and goes through all the ages, so up to 65. So that's kind of a nice tool that I feel like a lot of my families would benefit from. And then also just creating some kind of a visual chart for some of the kiddos who are a little bit more, I don't know, agitated about going to bed, just to make it seem like they have a little bit more power. So this is the one I brought actually home from my house, which is my daughter's. So, you know, we have a nice chart that she follows herself. So she can see the pictures, and granted my daughter's 2, so we can make one that's a little more age appropriate for older kiddos. But you know, so it has a bath, brush teeth, comb hair, some lotion, PJs, books, prayers, and goodnight, you know, tucking her in. So if we can create this and give them a little bit of power and they can see what's coming up next, sometimes they can transition a little bit easier into their routine.
It seems like no one ever, you're right, no one ever wants to go to bed, but no one ever wants to get up in the morning either.
Exactly. And obviously we know that there's so many side effects, that our kiddos are not going to flourish in school if they can't attend and focus. So a lot of the teachers out there are going to praise you if you can get your kids some good quality sleep.
What's kind of the time frame? I mean, for some parents it may be too late to start the habit, but so if you want to get back on track for the proper amount of sleep for school,
sure,
when should you start that to make it easier for this, like a week in advance?
I typically recommend 2 to 1, 1 to 2, you know, depending on your kiddo and their attitude and if they're very stubborn. But just trying to get them, you know, into bed a half hour earlier and having them wake up a half hour earlier each day until you're at that point where they are waking up where they need to be.
I know you have a great chart as to what time they should go to bed, and I really hate math, but I feel like sometimes when I see these charts, I'm surprised by how much sleep kids really do need.
Absolutely. That's usually one of my clients' big thing is like, how in the world are we going to have a social life or, you know, enjoy each other when our kids have to go to bed so early? But a lot of the times I just stress that it's more about the quality of time that you're giving your children rather than the quantity. Again, we need to make sure that that foundational physiological aspect of their sleep is being addressed. Otherwise, everything else is just kind of going to get off kilter.
Okay.
So,
when we come back, maybe we can talk about a few things as well that you should avoid when you're trying to get into a sleep routine.